I have abandoned hunger. What is going on, guys? It's Cryptic Boss here, bringing you another Lost Ark video, and in this one we are going to be talking about Reaper once again. This video is featuring my new Akatsuki Itachi-esque outfit because, as you can tell, I'm a huge fan of Itachi, Naruto, Akatsuki in general. The main thing about this video is going to be my build. Now, many of you have probably seen my video that I made a very long time ago when Reaper came out, the best hunger build or whatever, something along the lines, but the point is, I was or am a hunger main, right? Most of you guys know that build, you've seen it. Full swiftness Reaper. We got our 6-piece entropy. I'm like, you know, just one bro away from getting my weapon because I did skip a few of them, but we don't talk about that. We got the full swiftness set over here, right? 1733 swiftness. Could be a little better, but you know, it is what it is. This necklace that cost me about 200,000 on day one of Reaper's release, I believe. This is the same necklace that I use in my other build, which I will be showing you right now. So this is my full swiftness build, 5x3. These are my engravings, gems over here, and my LOS 18 card set. I know I always said I'm always going to be a hunger main, a hunger Reaper, which is true, right? I still play hunger, never ever getting rid of this, but one thing happened in the last stream that I did and it completely changed my entire build. Let's go! As you saw in that clip, we did hit a 96 quality RECRAFT angle weapon, and let me tell you, RECRAFT has always worked for me. In fact, if you look at this piece right here, this is the result of another RECRAFT. This weapon, a result of a RECRAFT, and also my Deathblade, which I've shown in the previous video, has a 90 quality weapon, once again RECRAFT. And in this case, I did spend about 200,000 gold on my 74 quality weapon. It just never went up. I was so fed up, I decided, you know what, let me just do it for content, for stream, and here we are. So because of this weapon, I was like, prices have been going down. I got a 96 quality weapon. I have both builds, right? Lunar and hunger. And at that time, I had a lunar build that had about 1500 something specs, so not too high. So I was like, I really want to push my Reaper to its limit to really see what insane big numbers she can really do. So I decided to instead make a build called Lunar. Yes, I did make a lunar build and I made it better than it was before. I know it's called Boomer here because that's kind of what it is, right? A lot of people cannot keep up with full swiftness piano classes, but that's a different video. So this is my lunar build. I have a 1779 spec build. It could be a little higher, right? I could definitely hit 1800, but that would also require a lot of gold. And as you can see, we are not looking too good on the fions. That's where my fions went, and I was literally at 0 gold not too long ago. So here's my full lunar build. I did mess up on the ring. I bought the wrong ring, and just for, you know, damage control, I had to buy a legendary ring. 100 quality, it is what it is. So here's the same necklace that I use, 499 spec, 499 swiftness. Big thing about this build is I am a swift spec lunar build. I do have crit on my bracelet, as you can see, 99 crit. This is very lucky because I did buy this bracelet from the market, which I do not recommend to anyone. Don't ever spend your gold buying bracelets because they are so stupidly RNG. It's crazy, but I just wanted the high spec, right? I just wanted a bracelet with really high spec. To my surprise, it did roll 99 crit. These are the engravings 5x3. I did kind of delve into 5x3 +1. It was completely out of my range, so I'm just happy with getting a high spec lunar build as opposed to getting a lower spec but a 5x3 +1, which I don't really see as effective because, as you all know, with spec classes, this is the most important thing. The higher the spec, the more damage you're going to be doing, the faster your meter fills. The gems, as you can see, I do have a level 5 event gem because, once again, I haven't completely left hunger, and I never will, because that is how it all began. That is where all the the movement comes in, right? I'm just so comfortable with hunger that I know it from the back of my hand. Like, there's so many clips that I've been farming from hunger. It just feels so cool. In fact, I'll play a clip from my last stream. It happened to be in clown as well, and it was one of the most satisfying things ever, and that's one of the things I appreciate about hunger, just the movement in general. But back to lunar, I have been seeing some really insane numbers. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to compare lunar to any other class because, let me tell you, I've also been building my striker. If you haven't seen the past video or the last video, if you haven't seen the latest video that I posted, the one before this, it's all about a deathblow striker. And let me tell you, this man at 1500 alone does 85 to 90 mil for my LTS, And it's absolutely absurd because if I compare that to my lunar, that is how much like my rage spear or my glowing brand would kind of nearly hit, like 70 to 80 mil at 1580. So just put that into perspective, right? But this video isn't about comparing Reaper to any other class. In fact, I'm just going to be talking about lunar as a whole. Now, my experience with lunar has been quite interesting. I do love seeing the big numbers, and I'm really happy that I am using the swiftness necklace. There's no way I'm ever going to use a crit one because I cannot imagine coming from a full swiftness hunger to having Z swiftness, nothing at all. It would feel so slow. So in terms of movement, she feels pretty good still. Not as slow as any other class like a Igniter, Sork, or a Deathblow Striker. The good things aside, right? The damage aside, the movement aside, the big numbers aside, one thing I truly hate is this skill over here, Shadow Trap. This skill has griefed me, and it's obviously a skill diff because I'm just getting to learn this build even more now. I did have a lunar before, but I didn't play as much because it was low spec. But now that I have a higher spec, I'm really putting this to use, and I have been getting really better at this. But in the beginning, early days, this skill would literally kill me because I would just kind of dash in the opposite direction, because when you use a skill, it actually launches you in the opposite direction of where you're aiming. It's kind of like how Gun Lancer's spacebar works. When you look forward and you press spacebar, instead of going forward, it's gonna push you backwards. So same thing with this skill, you gotta have to kind of think you know, a little backwards or just invert your brain a bit. Same with your identity, right? Once you get that full green bar and you press your Z skill or your Z button, it's gonna launch you backwards, but you can also animation cancel it, but that's not that big of a deal. So that's the only thing I don't like about lunar, but that's not even a big deal, right? When it comes to numbers, I've been seeing some insane numbers, and yes, it does dish out really big damage, and it's even better when it comes to damage gems, because guess what, you only need 3 damage gems as opposed to 4, because if you look at the hunger build, you do need 1 more damage gem for your silent rage. As you can see, you do need an extra DPS gem for this, so yeah, you do save just a little bit of money over there, but it's not that crazy of a difference. Of course, at higher investments, it does make a bit difference. Like if you're looking at level 10 gems, you would need 1 less level 10 gem when it comes to lunar. So yeah, this video, you know, I just wanted to let you guys know, because as a Reaper main, as someone who has been putting out a lot of Reaper videos in the past, I have been playing a lunar, right? I guess you could say I've made the switch, but it's not permanent, of course. I'm just kind of getting comfortable with it, but I definitely do see myself playing this build in the long run, simply because of how good of a ratio I got, and you know, the necklace alone, it's fun, the numbers are good, and I still think if I do play a hunger, right, I would just out DPS my own lunar build, but that's also because I'm so comfortable with it. It's the enormous amount of experience that I have with hunger in every single raid in the game at the highest level, hard modes. Well, I don't want to say hell modes because I don't care about those, since you don't get anything out of them in terms of gold, and that's kind of really why I do raids, right, to get gold. But anyway, hard mode being the highest level in any raid, right, I'm just so comfortable with hunger, but at the same time, I am learning more and more lunar in terms of rotation, getting comfortable with it, and it's turning out to be really good. I do recommend this. If there's any one of you out there wondering what I should play, hunger or lunar, my final thoughts are start with hunger. Always, if you're a new player, you know, even if you don't have that much gold, start with hunger. Way cheaper, way easier to learn, and less chances of you dying because you're faster. You know, you're swiftness class, you have a lot of swiftness, but eventually when you're reaching towards the end game, when you can min-max to get the spec up, only then invest in a lunar build. In fact, I do recommend don't make a lunar if you cannot get 1700 spec, because even with really high spec, I'm telling you, there's other classes like my own striker, for example, that can probably out DPS my Reaper if they were at the same eye level, or even if my striker is a less eye level than my Reaper, he would still out DPS my lunar Reaper. And that's not even skill diff, that's just how it is, because some classes, for example Blade, right, the way they scale with spec, it's different than what my lunar Reaper would scale in terms of spec. Some classes just kind of scale even higher with spec. So I'm not gonna get too into numbers, but what I'm saying is definitely try to invest in a lunar Reaper once you have a lot of gold and you can get at least 1650 to 1700 spec. It will really feel good in that sense, because you'll get your gauge pretty fast. You can cycle through these 3 red skills pretty efficiently and fast. That's it for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like down below. Comment what your thoughts are on Hunger or Reaper. What build you have been playing? And yeah, I'm just enjoying Reaper in general. Still my favorite class in the game. Absolutely love this class. Whether it's Hunger or Lunar, I don't care. I will play this class till the end of this game. And catch me live on twitch.tv/GoodlyPass, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.